In this video, I'm going to show you all the steps to decorating your Valentine's Day cookie kit. So first step, a very important step, is to massage all of your icing bags. The icing sugar and the water separate when it sits at room temperature, so you have to make sure to mix them until you don't see any separation between the water and the coloring and icing sugar. And then you're going to cut the whole of your bag super, super small, like I just showed there. You can always go bigger after, but you're going to see how small that line of icing is coming out. You want to make sure it's tiny. Then you're going to start by outlining the XOXO cookie. This just makes it easier to flood in after, so that your flood doesn't fall over the edges. So I'm just outlining. When I outline, I kind of let gravity do the work. I'm not dragging my piping bag along the cookie. I am touching it down and then lifting it off the cookie. This way you get a nice clean line. Also keep in mind this is sped up 2 times, so that I can show you guys a little bit quicker, but your outlining won't look that quick. Next up, I'm going to flood or fill in the XOXO cookie. So here I'm using that same pink piping bag, but I am now squeezing harder and closer to the cookie, and it's filling in every space. You don't want to see any cookie underneath. Again, 2 times speed. I wish I could flood this fast. Here I just picked up the cookie and I'm giving it a really good shake to smooth out the icing. So in the decorate your own kits, it's only one consistency icing. So rather than having an outline consistency and a flood or fill consistency, it's all one. So the icing doesn't settle as easily. So I'm using a scribe here. You can use a toothpick to settle it and then give it a shake. While that dries, we're going to move on to the donut heart cookie. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're using the brown icing. Make sure, again, you can't see any separation of the color and the water and icing sugar in it. It takes a couple minutes to massage each bag of icing to make sure that it's mixed. So again, I am touching the bag down, lifting it up, and dragging it or moving it in the air. I'm not dragging it on the cookie. Then I'm using that same bag to fill in the cookie. So you can see here that the icing is pretty thick for a flood consistency. Again, that's because the kits have a single consistency. So give it a good shake. And it will smooth right out. You can use a toothpick here. You don't need to if you don't have toothpicks at home. It will settle on its own. And you're covering it up after anyways. Next up, we have the teddy bear. So this one has a few different sections that we have to let dry before doing the section that touches it. So start with the head here. Again, outlining technique. And the ears. These are his arms. We're going to leave a space in the middle for a heart. Hopefully you can't hear my laptop about to blast off into outer space here. The fan is always on overdrive, unfortunately. Okay, so the teddy bear is fully outlined. Then you're going to take again that same brown icing and you are going to flood in just certain sections. Oh, I lied. We're taking the pink icing and we're outlining a heart. Now we're filling in with some brown flood. We're going to do the head. Give it a shake so that it can settle. And then let that dry while we move on to the rainbow cookie. So this you can kind of play around and do any pattern you want. But if you want to copy my way, with this one, it doesn't really matter which you start with. I started on the outside just so I could keep it well spaced out. So again, outline technique, you can see it really well there, how my bag is nowhere close to the cookie, it's just falling. And then filling in. You can fill in any way you want, just like how some people color around the edges all the way in or one section to the next. However you want to fill it in works. Here I did polka dots. You could do stripes, you could do a different color than that, you could leave it just red, whatever you want. This is called a wet on wet technique, so before the red dried, I started detailing with the brown here, so it's going to settle in and it's all going to be in line with each other, so it's going to look almost as if it's like painted on. Here I'm doing hearts all the way around, so I basically just squeeze the bag really hard to make a circle, and then I drag it down, and then do the same to attach it on the other side of the heart. I love this technique for hearts. It makes cute little, like, fun, non-traditional style hearts. Then I'm going in with purple and outlining, same shape as the red, and then filling it in. If you cut your bags too big and you're not able to get nice lines, you could always try, if you don't have a piping bag at home, you could always try putting it the icing into like a Ziploc bag and cutting the end. It's not going to be as nice as a piping bag, of course, but it will work better than a massive hole in your bag. Then I added little mini purple hearts, and now I'm going in with brown for my final layer. And I lied again, we have red too. And there's our cute little Valentine's Day rainbow. Next up we have our heart. So we're doing red for this one, again outlining, and then you're going to fill in the whole heart. So again, no cookie showing, squeeze the bag harder and let the bag touch the cookie. One thing to think about too with when you cut the hole really small, and you're trying to be fast and you squeeze the bag really hard, you could kind of see it there. The bag can start to bulge and then it could pop. So just keep in mind, if the hole is really small, don't squeeze it too hard. So here we're going to do another wet on wet technique. I'm just doing pink lines across, and then I'm going to go in with purple in between. And then I'm taking my scribe. Again, you could use a toothpick. If you don't have a toothpick for this, you could probably just use like a really pointy, sharp knife. And then you just drag it through the lines to make this really pretty pattern. I love this one. It's so simple, but looks so pretty. We're going back to the bear. Filling in the legs. And then the little pink bottoms. Here you can just do any squiggly pattern. This is to show purple icing on top of the donut, and then you're filling it in. The brown icing has now partially dried, so this will stand out a little bit, but not as much as it would if the icing had been fully dry. My laptop is really starting to take off now, so I feel like you probably can hear this, so my apologies. Okay, back to the XOXO. So now we're going to do the letters. I did red, and you're just going to kind of start wherever you want, wherever you feel like you can line up the letters the best. And then you're going to outline and flood the letters. Back to the teddy bear again. So we can do the arms and the other foot. And then we'll leave the heart for very last. Again, we're doing it in sections so that they can dry before doing the next section. Otherwise, they would all merge together and you wouldn't see any of that differentiation. Excuse me if you heard that. The yawns are coming in strong. Then we're going to add sprinkles. So you can do dots, you can do hearts, you can do little sticks, whatever you want. Or you can do them all. changed my mind apparently, and I did a red heart. So here I'm just using my scribe to kind of like pull the icing out where I didn't cover the outline. And then the little heart nose. And it's all done.